Good morning, everyone. I am going to try to get Kitty in the picture if I can get him to come over here, but he's still doing his zoomies. He just ran by, as you heard. He tries to get away with everything he can when I start my video. And I wonder, what's the difference between his behavior and our behavior? God tells us not to do things, and we don't seem to be able to do it. Paul said, why do I do the things I don't want to do and not do the things I want to do? So Paul struggled with it. It's a human trait, I guess. So the title for today's video is Just Say No. Simple, but complex. There was a campaign during the 80s started by Nancy Reagan as part of the anti-drug culture, which was prevalent starting in the 60s. He's looking at me. He's about ready to pounce. You can tell when a cat's about ready to pounce. Animals are maybe 3 years old at best. In mine, he's a little over 6, 7 months old, something like that. He's not even a year old yet. How does a 1-year-old act? How do they behave? Don't touch that. I was at a relative's house one time. I'm not going to go into names. But their little one was doing something. I don't remember what it was. It's years and years ago. And they said, I'm going to show Kitty real quick and see if I can get this over with, and then he can go play someplace, maybe. Lie on the floor, but then he's just contemplating. How can I attack? He gets ready to attack, and I pointed at him, and he lied down. He's not done thinking. He's not done attacking. He's just got a plan. I don't know if you can see my arm, but, I have a cat who likes to play rough. Anyhow, this parent to the child, if you do that one more time, I'm going to smack you. I heard that like 13 times. If you do that one more time, I'm going to smack you. 13 times. I think at that time I blurted out, are you going to smack him or not? I don't remember what I said exactly, but I basically said something. And the conversation ended at that point. It was just absurd. Enjoying my coffee this morning, though. So the campaign of Just Say No didn't really work. They promoted it a lot. That's the cat running around still. Promoted it a lot, but it didn't work because in its simplicity, it had the right solution to drugs or whatever. But the complex side of it is we have a bad nature, and you can't just say no to a bad nature. You have to replace the nature with something better. You have to distract it. You have to keep it busy so that it can't keep influencing. The Satan is going to be tempting on a regular basis. But just to go back to the say no part, Matthew 5:37, but let your speech be yea, yea, or nay, nay, or yes, yes, and no, no. And whatsoever is more than these is of the evil one. Did this happen? Well, I don't know, maybe, sort of, kind of, maybe, sort of. Did it happen or not? Yes or no? Did you sin? Well, yeah, maybe, sort of. It's yes or no. And for most of us, the answer is pretty much going to be yes for sin. Now, the severity of the sin is on our individual upbringing and what we've had to deal with. 1 Corinthians 10:13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as man can bear. God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above what you're able. So if you're still sinning something that you know you're not supposed to be doing, God's providing a way out. You're just not taking it. You're not seeing it. I'm just making stuff up. If your temptation is eating chocolate pie, don't buy chocolate pie. There's some of the things happen because we put ourselves in these situations. If you're prone to overdrink when you go out, either don't go out or don't drink when you go out. I'm just pulling stuff out of the hat at this point in time. Some of the stuff is because we keep repeating the same mistakes. We don't learn. Now, some of us enjoy the sin that we have as a problem. Let's see if Kitty can lay next to me and look out the window now. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatsoever is true, whatsoever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Your mind is going to become what you put in it and think about. Jesus said if we think about lusting, it's just the same as if we did. Because you can dream that you're doing something when you shouldn't be, maybe because you didn't have the opportunity. But if you can dream about it and the opportunity arose, you would commit that sin just as easily as it would in your mind. So don't think about stuff. Keep yourself distracted. What do you do with a little kid who knows there's cookies in the cookie jar? You distract them. You change the subject. You get them onto something else. And then you can eventually get to the point of leave the cookie jar empty and show them and hide the cookies someplace else where they don't belong. So you find ways to get around whatever our problem is. 1 John 2:15. Do not love the world or the things of the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all this is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires in the eyes and pride of life, is not from the Father, but is from the world, and the world is passing away along with its desires. But whoever does the will of God abides forever. Be careful. There's a lot of things that I used to do, and I haven't figured out a way to do them without getting into trouble, so I don't do them anymore. I used to dress up as a pirate and hang out with my pirate friends, and the problem is they'd go to the bar and drink, or we'd go to a different location. Myrtle Beach is not too far from here, and we'd drive there, and sometimes they'd rent rooms there. Multiple people in an apartment complex on the beach, because you can't afford, one person can't afford it, but you can split it up. And some of the events that we did were fun, sitting around singing sea shanties, walking up and down the beach, taking pictures. That's okay. But the drinking part was not. Not to excess. And a lot of them drank to excess. Now, I can't drink much. I don't drink anymore, but I can't drink much anyway because my body really just doesn't like it. Thank God for that. If I have more than a casual, if I don't drink anymore, but if I had more than a casual drink, my body would get violently sick. I'd be throwing up, praying to the porcelain god, as they say. Oh God, I will never do this again if you just help me. How many times a week did some people say that? Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about everything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to known to God. Man has a need to talk to God. And God already knows everything that we need. So He'll provide it. Prayer, supplication. You're submitting your prayers with reverence. Thanksgiving, you've got to believe it's going to happen. There's no point in asking for something if you don't have the faith that God can do it. We're to pray without ceasing, so just consider it just talking to God. How you doing, God? I'm having a great day. I wish I could have some help in this area. If you can, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Whatever it is. Romans 8:28, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. Whatever your situation is, you may not be happy about it. You may get a flat tire going to an interview, and you're late, and somebody else gets the job. That may be the worst job you could have ever had. God has a better job for you. It's got to get to it. Whatever the situation, there's a plan that God has for you, and you just got to be in the right place. So you've got to have your mind right. If you're sitting, you're blocking the Spirit from helping you. You're grieving the Spirit. You can quench the Spirit, same thing. You're reducing its effectiveness by sin. If you ask God to do something, don't be surprised when it happens. Be ready. You may say, God, give me someone to talk to today. The person might be a homeless person. Maybe somebody who's got a speech impediment. You still have to talk to them because that's what a loving God would do. You don't have to let them move in with you. You just have to talk to them. And what do we talk about? We're witnesses for God. Talk about the things you did and how God helped you. You don't have to come in and say, have you read the 4 spiritual laws? Do you have a Bible? They want to know the practicality of it. How does it work in your life? You can't come up to somebody and you say, do you have this new widget for your car? No. Do you? No. I was just asking if you did. Well, I'm not going to go get it if I don't know anybody else who's got it. The best way to teach somebody is by example. And then to make the example so pleasant. The gifts, love, joy, peace. If you just display those 3 things, people will be pounding on your door trying to get in. They're going to want what you've got. That's why they overindulge in all these various things to alter the mind. They're trying to find what God provides for free. You want to replace God with drugs? They're not free. They cost money. So does alcohol. Costs money. God's free. You just got to figure out how to tap it in. If you go into a brewery, there's a storage vat in there full of liquid gold for them. But until they tap it, it's just in storage. God's available, just like that vat is, but you got to tap it. There's a place for the tap to go in, and they get a mallet and they drive the tap in. Then you can turn it on or off if you want to. Frankly, with God, you just turn it on and leave it on. But you got to tap into it. If you don't, it's just there. You could have a bank account with $1 million and not have any way to access it. What good's it going to do you? None. God's a multiple gazillion dollars, whatever the number is that's so big you can't say it, available. Now, his job is not to just sit there and answer and give us our prayers. He wants a relationship. But in that relationship, you will have needs and wants. God will give you your wants too. Not always the way you think they're going to be. But a want is a perceived need. You think it's going to make you feel good or make you look better or do a better job. If it's a true need, God will give it to you. If it's a prideful need, you may have to wait. All right. Miracles happen. Kitty is laying here very calm, looking outside. We had a pretty good storm come through last night. It was a short run storm, but it rained buckets for about 30 minutes. Some people came in and set up a tent and a canopy and all that stuff. And of course, there was wind involved too, and it messed it up. It looks like they managed to survive stuff. One tent they had got knocked down and everything in it got wet. You've got to be prepared for these things. People never know. They didn't know there was a storm coming. Don't go outside if you don't know if the storm's coming. You can weather the storm if you know it's coming. The question is did they learn? There's a couple of brothers next to me, and they're in small tents. And after the storm, I went by, and I could see that their small tents were there, and a light glowing from each one. So that means that they were inside. They survived the storm. The other place, they were picking up the pieces. We're not promised a rose garden. Besides, roses have thorns. They smell good. But there's other plants that can look good too. All right. It's a simple thing for all of us. Very simple. Just say no. But back that up with the Word of God, with the preparation, with your mindset. And when someone says, you need a new car, just say no. Mine's working fine. It may need a paint job, but it serves its purpose. Our pride sometimes wants us to say yes. So learn to just say no. Until we meet in the clouds, God bless.